Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody to today's Colorado Business Hangout. And we are going to have a lot of value for you today. So let me just click off our little title screen here and show you the real people. And we'll get this thing kicked off. So, all right. So, welcome everybody. This is Brad Kilgore with Online Marketing Media and also ColoradoBusinessHangout.com. And I've got a couple of my friends and business partners online with us today. We've got Doug DiMercurio up in Fort Collins, Colorado. How are you today, Doug?
I'm doing awesome. I'm excited today. We got some really incredible stuff to share with people, so this is going to be fun.
Awesome, awesome. And then I've also got my tech techie WordPress extraordinary expert online as well from Florida, and we got Robert Dempsey on. How are you today, Robert?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be here. Hope we can help some people today.
Awesome. All right, guys. So we're going to kick it off with basically Doug's going to kind of give us a high-level view of what we're going to be talking about today. If you didn't already see the title of our webinar / hangout today, it's Does Your Website Suck? And why should it? So we're going to just kick it off with Doug, and he's going to go over some really good information here, and Robert and I will kind of chime in as we go. So, and then if you are on the webinar today, we also have a chat area that you have the ability to turn on the top left of your screen. You'll see a little box that's got a couple little bubbles in it, and that's the chat. So you can highlight that, and then you'll be able to see our live chat as well. So let's go ahead and turn it over to Doug. Doug, you are blue boxed.
Okay, thank you, Brad. Appreciate that. And so yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. The topic for today is Does Your Website Suck? And we're going to show you why we think it should. Not suck in the normal terms of the word, but rather we think it should suck in leads and customers for your business. And so that's the why of what we want to do this. Over the past couple of weeks, we've talked about the things that are really important for you as a local business in terms of your online marketing. There's really 4 cornerstones to that. There's website and SEO, local directories, social media, and video marketing. And so today we're going to touch on one of those first cornerstones, and that's your website. We're not going to go into the SEO part of it so much today, but we want to cover the website and what makes for a good website. So the first cornerstone, again, of your local business marketing is going to be website and SEO. And here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to go over why you should have a website. We're going to talk about the key elements of what make up a highly productive website, rather than have one that sucks in customers and leads, rather than one that just sucks your time and money. And then we're going to talk about ways to get traffic to your website. So why have a website? There's many reasons, and let's go over a few of those. Number one is, perception is reality when it comes to marketing. It's not so much what's actually happening out there, but it's what people believe is happening. And so there's a lot of people that perceive, and for that reason it's their reality, or they believe that if you don't have a website, you don't have a real business. And even though that may not be true, even if you have a real business, if you don't have a website, there's a lot of people people searching today. A lot of people look online. If they can't find you online, they don't know you have a business, and they won't think so.
Well, and to interject on that, Doug, I also think if you do have a website and it's really antiquated and outdated, or just really looks sloppy, or just not very good. There's a lot of ugly websites out there. I think when people see that as well, they also say, "Wow, are these people for real?" This doesn't look good.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's going to give that's what this is going to be, their first impression of your business. So if you have a website that's poorly designed, that doesn't work very well, that looks crummy, they're going to take away all those perceptions as what your business is like. So that's absolutely true. Now again, people today, they search online. You know, the word of mouth advertising of the past is now it's changed considerably. I mean, people, word of mouth to them now is social media, but we're not getting into the social media side of things. But people are looking for stuff when they're looking to find something. They're going online to find it first, and then they're going out and hunting it down. So when people, as far as people searching online today, your website's going to work for you 24/7. I mean, it's working when you're not. It's open 24 hours. So you don't have to be manning the marketing store so much if you have a website that that is effective.
Absolutely.
You know, in today's environment, 85% of consumers use the internet to find local businesses. And that, to me, that really struck me as unbelievable when you think about it. If you're out and about, if you're out driving a car, you're going somewhere, you think, oh man, I need to go get something. What's the first thing that people do today? They'll go to their cell phone and they'll, either type in a search, or they'll use the voice recognition and say, where can I find the nearest blah blah blah. And so they're searching on the internet, and a lot of them they're not even using their computers anymore. It's all mobile. So but the internet, mobile is part of the internet. So why have a website? It's one of the most cost-effective ways to connect with new customers. If you have a website, it's out there working for you around the clock, and it's going to be there when people are searching and where they're searching.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to quickly welcome Ty Steers to the call. Ty, there's a chat button on the top left of your window. So if you open up that little deal, if we do any chatting, you'll see that feature up there as well. So, but no, that makes perfect sense, Doug. I mean, there's a lot of factors, and a lot of it's switching over to mobile, just like you just said. So take it away.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. If 85% of people use the internet to find local business, shouldn't you be on the internet? You want to be where people are looking, and so I mean, that's critical. Here's from a different perspective: 40% of all of the searches done online, people are looking for local business. Okay, 40% of the total search queries are local searches. So if you don't have a website, you're missing out on almost half of your potential customers. People that are looking for what you have, 40% of them are searching online for local. Okay, it's absolutely critical that you have a presence online. And here's a quick marketing tip for you. 60% of searchers say that their local listings with a photo grab their attention more than a standard listing. So this is just an example. I mean, you probably can't read this. It's not really in terms of when you're doing a search online and you bring up that first page of Google, those results that show up that have a picture next to them, those are the ones that grab your attention. And it's interesting, Brad, I pulled this up last night. I wasn't really thinking about it, but I typed in online marketing, and we have 2 positions on there on the first page of Google, and those 2 with the pictures there, those are our listings where we're actually talking about the online business hangout or online marketing media. So having 2 positions on the first page of Google, you can see that this is Google authorship, and we'll talk about that when we go down the road, not today. It's one of the more advanced strategies, but it is definitely something that you want to have tied into your website, and so that you do show up and grab people's attention. Brad, do you want to pitch in on this?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's really something that's hugely important anymore, and exactly what Doug said. When we're looking at a search result, especially on a local level, our eyes are drawn to pictures versus words. And so if you have your blog set up with your Google Plus, essentially, then your picture, if it's done correctly, will show up when you put new content on your blog. And so that's exactly why this is showing up here. And yeah, it's absolutely true. I know when I do searches, you see a bunch of words. If you go to a search and you see a picture or even a video, where you see a little image of a video, those things are what draw people in. Absolutely.
Yep. So great. So we've talked about why to have a website. Now let's talk about some of the key elements of having a productive website. One of them, this is before you even create your website, but you want to have an easy to remember domain name. And if you look at that image on the screen, nobody is ever going to remember what that is or how to type it in or how to come back to it. So you want to give some focused thought on what is your business to begin with, and you want to go out there and you want to find a domain name that relates to what your business is, that's easy for people to remember, and that they're not going to confuse with other domain names. Now, the other another key critical element to your website is that you want to have your website be clearly targeted to who your ideal customer is. So you can, if you build a website, but your messages and everything else about it are not real focused or clear about what it is that you are, or what it is that you have to offer, if you're trying to be too many things to too many people, it's going to confuse people. And so you want to have just a real clear picture of who your ideal customer is. Understand that the internet is it's huge, and if you have just the tiniest portion of a tiny niche on the internet, that's going to be lots and lots of people. So you want to get really clearly targeted and have your website be clearly targeted, and then you can focus in with keywords, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But one element of a good website is to have it clearly targeted to who your ideal customer is. Okay, don't try to be everything to everybody.
Right. Let's on that note, just one slide back, Doug. I think it's important for people to know when you're picking a domain name, if you don't already have a website, is not only do you want to have something easy to remember without a bunch of dashes and weird characters in there, you also want to remember that the .coms are the most important for optimization. Also, .com, .net, and .org. Those are the three that I would choose when it comes to, if you're going to ever try to rank your website in Google. Those are the three that I would recommend, .com being the first one, because so many people are so used to typing in .com. I know one of our main websites is a .net, and there are times people get confused with that, but there's so many other endings now, .co, .us, .biz, those things, I would just kind of shy away from those, because .co especially, because most people, if they see that and they're going to go type it in, they're going to automatically type in .com, and they're never going to get to your website. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Right. Well, I totally agree. I think, I mean, I know I'm one of probably the worst at that, but I just, my fingers automatically type in .com. And one of the other things related to that, with Google's change in their algorithm with this latest Hummingbird revision, or whatever you want to call it, it appears to me, from the research that I've done, that the .com addresses carry a lot more authority than any of the other ones. And so if you're looking for a domain name, pick one with .com first, and I mean, that's the one that I would choose over any others. So the next key element of your website here is to offer your customers what they're looking for. Okay, you have the things that you offer, but if your ideal target customer, when you get down into that, do some surveys, if you really know who your customers are and what they want is not what you offer, then you better think about what is it that you want to offer. Give people what they want. You know, if what you're offering are prime cut steaks, and your target market, everybody that's visiting your website, are all vegetarians, well, then I'd say it's probably time to switch what products you're offering. You know, so adjust to what people you have, or you need to look at repositioning your website. The next thing here, and I hope you guys are writing these down. I'm not going to have a summary at the end here. I could probably go through them quickly, but go ahead and take notes. And but these are like the key elements, and we'd be happy to consult with you. You can always contact us, and we can help you make this happen. But the next element is make your website easy to navigate. How many of you have gone to a website and you've clicked on there, and they've got so much stuff going on, and all these, you know, video distractions and everything else, that you can't find what it is that you know what you want to get from them, but you can't find where you're supposed to go to get it. So have your website be very easy to navigate, simple to find your way around, and you'll find that people will stay on your website for longer, and you'll end up doing a lot more business that way. The next key element here is make sure, no matter what business company you have, particularly local businesses, you want to make sure that your contact info is highly visible. Most people, when they're doing their initial search, they're just trying to figure out, how do I get in touch with this guy? I got a quick question I want to ask them. They're searching for, you know, if we use this as an example, this is one of our clients up in northern Colorado, and somebody's looking for insurance, and they go, you know, here's, if your website pops up at the top, so I want to call them and ask them a question. Well, make sure that your phone number is very visible there. If they're driving down the street and they go, where's the nearest insurance agent, and they type that in, and you pop up at the top, if you don't have your address visible there, they might not know, you know, where to find you. So you want to make it easy for them to connect with you. So make sure your contact information is highly visible. The next thing, we're talking about word-of-mouth advertising. Make sure you have easy connections to social media. So on your home page, on all of your pages, have a very easy way for people to connect with you on Facebook, on Google+, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and so on. Give them that opportunity to easily just click on a button and connect with you in other areas. And
that's absolutely important these days, because as we'll touch on a little bit today and on our future weekly webinars, is social media right now is Google keeps changing the rules as far as what works in searches these days, and really they are hugely emphasizing now the power of social media and how that integrates into your website, and how much you participate and share and post your blog posts over there to to social, and then people responding back. I mean, it's such a huge factor now. It's changed the whole game to even what it was a year ago, where social wasn't nearly as important to your search results, but now it is very, very important.
It's hugely important. Google recognized that, and that's why they created Google+.
Yes.
That's become kind of their social umbrella for all of their products. And, you know, we're getting kind of even over my head to a certain extent at this point, because a lot of this is so relatively new. You know, the way that Google has now integrated, you know, YouTube and all of their other, and their Google Calendar and so on, with Google+, it's amazing. You know, just how much of this has become social now. So one of the purposes, the big purposes of having a website, is to help you develop a larger and larger list of prospective customers and existing customers. And your customers are out there on these social networks. And so if you can connect with them in multiple ways, then that's what your website has been designed to do. It's for you to connect with them, and then increase your ability to connect with them over many, many other platforms. And the website is just one part of an integrated strategy of marketing your business. Okay? So Let's go with the next one here, and this is really critical. We touched on this earlier, but you want your website to be responsive, to be mobile friendly. If you look at the image on this slide, it's showing you, you know, what does the website look like on a tablet, on a mobile phone, not just on your website. You know, if you were to look at whatever this website is, I don't know, but if you were to look at this website on a laptop or on a computer, it might have, you know, it might be twice as wide as that tablet and have 4 columns across. But as you switch to a tablet, it's going to be 2 columns. When you switch to a mobile phone, it's 1 column. You want your website to be able to do that seamlessly and automatically, and not have people have to scroll all around on their web phone to try to find something. You want it to be mobile friendly. You want it to be, in the industry, what is called responsive. Okay. Another element that you want to have on your website, you want to be able to capture your visitors' info. So you want to have an offer or a call to action and an opt-in form on your website. And I just pulled these off of our Colorado Business Hangout website, Brad, where you want to have something that people, that has enough value that people are willing to trade their contact information for something that you're giving them. So on our, in our ColoradoBusinessHangout.com, we've created a great resource for people to learn about Google Plus, because it is so relatively new. There's so much that it has to offer to people. So we've created the U Plus Success Recipe Handbook, and you can get that absolutely free by just going to ColoradoBusinessHangout.com, and when you see that, it'll be there. There's the opt-in form where you put in your email, your name and your email, and you get the book for free. So you want to have something that is of value to the people visiting your site, that actually ties in with what you're doing. So whatever business you're in, whether you believe it or not, you're an expert in your industry. You know more about what you do than 99% of the people out there. That's just you being in the business. You know more about it than everybody else does. And a lot of times there's some very things, the same things that seem very basic, very simple, kind of that you do without even thinking about it, that those aren't even on other people's radar. And so, but it's valuable information to them. So you can create a simple 10 best ways to, you know, do this, or the 10 things you need to know about that people don't tell you about, you know, cleaning drains, or whatever, you know, if you're a plumber or whatever it would be. But just you can create something that's very, very basic to you, but seems like guru information to your customers and your clients. So have a call to action, have an opt-in form, have something that you offer of value to people that visit your website, and by doing that, that's going to allow you to then collect names and be able to provide information to them in the future and keep them informed of what's going on with your business. So the next thing that's really important these days, maybe not so much in the past, but today, you want to have an active blog. And this is really critical for SEO, which is search engine optimization. And without going into all of that and what all that is, it's just a way for when people type in a phrase, or they speak a question into their phone looking for something on the internet, Google or whoever, whatever search engine is looking for that information, they're going to go out and they're going to try and find the most relevant website that's going to provide them with the answer to the question, or the solution to the problem that they're looking for when they type that in or speak that in. And having an active blog really provides you with an opportunity to create information that is current and that is relevant for a variety of topics, so that when people, if they're searching for something that's related to the business that you provide, to the solution that you provide, you have the opportunity to show up on that first page. And that's, you know, if people are searching for something and you don't show up on that first page, then what you're doing is, you know, online is a waste of time. I mean, it doesn't do you any good to do stuff to have a website if nobody ever sees it.
Right.
So
Right.
having an active blog is critical. Brad, I'll let you, chime in here for a second.
Yeah, absolutely, Doug. Thank you. It's This is the way I explain it to a lot of people when they a lot of times will have me look at their website. Maybe they're a prospective client or they're just getting my opinion on things. So many times, their website itself is an older, antiquated website, and what I like to call as a static website. Okay, meaning there's no blog on there. The pages were created 5 years ago, and nothing's been changed on them. Same with the pictures and that type of thing. They're not doing anything connected to social media with their website. And the way we create websites is we call it a instead of a static website, it's much more of a dynamic website. And what that means, briefly, is we have a powerful blog set up on there. We also give the business owner the ability to add or change content very easily, add new pages, and that type of thing. And then when it comes to the blogging piece of it, we highly encourage people. In fact, we train people how to blog on their own site, and how to do it correctly for the search engines. And so many times people say, well, what do I blog about? Well, kind of like Doug explained earlier, your services or your niche is something that you are an expert in. So if you are if you have a website and you're a veterinarian and you offer certain niche services, whether it's in-home care or that type of thing, these are things that you could be blogging about, not just the services themselves, but maybe success stories or new products, or the fact that you sponsored the Little League team or what have you. And you put those types of things on your blog, and of course we train people on how to do that correctly with keywords that are pertinent to your area and that type of thing if you're a local business. And then of course once you do that with now you have a blog post, which is technically a piece of content, you can then share that to all of your different social media outlets as well and get people to participate. So blogging, in my opinion, is one of the top things that you can do for your website, and if you're not doing it, you're really, essentially missing the boat. And so that's a huge factor that you mentioned there, Doug.
Yeah, and one thing I want to throw in here real quick, Brad, is that a lot of people think that, oh God, I don't, I can't write stuff. I don't know how to write articles and stuff like that, and they think of blogging as kind of being a publisher of a newspaper or something and having to do a lot of writing. In a lot of cases, I mean, if you hate to write, you don't have to write to have a blog. We can work with you to create simple videos, and you can create what some people call a video log or vlog or whatever these days, where we could come on, we can show you how we can get you online and do a quick, simple video interview type of thing. And that's the type of thing that you can do without having to do any writing. You can record a quick, simple video that addresses one problem, and you can post that on your website, and that becomes a blog post. And so it's not as difficult as if you hate the camera, you don't like the camera. Look at what I'm doing right now. Okay, you can't see my face. I'm not in front of the camera. I've just created some PowerPoint slides, and I'm giving out some simple information. So there's a lot of different ways to go about creating videos, and videos carry a lot of power right now if you use them properly. And so blogging, video, all of that stuff, it's all intertwined. It seems I'm probably, if I was just looking at this for the first time as a business owner that's been wrapped up in my business, doing everything that I can just to keep up with customer orders, I would probably be thinking right now, this is just too much for me. In reality, it's actually quite simple, and we can walk you through a step-by-step process and help you to really improve your marketing and get you results. So, Brad, anything else before we move on to the next section here?
Nope, I think we covered that one well.
Okay, and then the last key thing to touch on here, and this gets into more of the technical stuff, but you want to make sure that your website is search engine optimized. You want it to be friendly for the search engines when they're looking for answers to problems, answers to what people are typing in, for solutions to that. And so it gets very technical, but that's something we can certainly help you out with. There are tools out there that do that. I just put two examples here of kind of a tool that shows a site, if this was trying to rank for one particular keyword and it's just showing up, it's not going to show up if your website was, this is what we call on-page optimization. In other words, it's what's done on the pages and on your website itself. If your website looked like this one, you would not show up in the first 100 pages of the search. If you had this one, now you have a chance to get on page 1, because this is 100% optimized. And so, like I talked before, if you have a website out there and nobody sees it, what good does it do you? So you want to make sure that your website is optimized, and then you have a chance to show up on page 1. And then there's other things that you can do, what we call as off-site optimization, which are things that have to do with connecting it to the social networks, with creating backlinks, with doing a number of other little tips and tricks and secrets that, again, get kind of technical, but that point the search engines to your optimized page, that make the search engine want to show your page first, show it on the first page of Google. And over 90% of the traffic, or people that go to a website, when they do a search, over 90% of the people never go beyond that first page. So really the way to look at it is, if you're not on the first page, you're not on the internet. Okay, you're there, but nobody's going to see you. So now let's talk about some ways to send traffic or people to your website. I'm going to go through this real quick because this is not the main purpose of this. It was really to show you what we've done so far, kind of the key elements of how to create a website that sucks in a good way, that sucks leads and customers to your business. But here's how you can send traffic to your website. Okay, ways to get organic, what we call organic traffic. In other words, free traffic, traffic that kind of happens on its own. Okay, you can do it through blogging and SEO, which we already touched on that earlier. You can do it through social media. If you have something on your website, some information that's a particular timely interest, you can just create a quick little message out to Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever with a link to that page on your website that sends people over there. If they like the message that you posted on social media, they'll click on the link, it'll take you to your website, boom, now you've got people that have visited there, and they're potentially going to opt in. Video marketing through YouTube, through other video channels, is another way. People watch the video and go, oh, I want to learn more about that. You have a call to action in your video that sends them to your website. Article marketing, this would be articles that you write for other article directories, okay, particularly things that maybe are related to your industry. So there's things out there like e-zine articles and so on, but these are not articles that you write on your website, but articles that you write somewhere else that have a link in the description of who you are as an author, for example. That Brad Kilgore is the owner of Online Marketing Media. He's an expert in the field of SEO, and if you'd like to learn more about Brad and get some additional information about marketing online, go to onlinemarketingmedia.net and you'll be able to find him. And that's in your description, and so that's a link that people can click on from articles outside of your website that would bring them to your website. Also include your URL on all your printed materials, your business cards, brochures. If you're doing any type of print media, advertising, direct mail, or anything else out there, magazines and so on, make sure that your website address is on there where people can click on that if they're reading about it somewhere. That make sure your website address is there so that they can go there and type, when they have the opportunity, they can go there and click on it and search. Personal invitations. If you go to meetup groups or whatever, tell people about what you do and share with them. Give them your business card. Share with them your website. Tell them, oh, we just did a video, or we just wrote an article about what we were talking about. So why don't you visit our website? Here, go here, and you can learn more about that. And then again, whenever, if you have an email list of people, whenever you're sending out your emails, put your website address in your signature line. Make sure it's in every email that you send out, so that that people have that opportunity to click on and connect with your website and help to build your list. So now there are ways. Other ways to get traffic, through paid advertising. You can do pay-per-click advertising on Google, Facebook, Yahoo, Bang, all those deals. You can do pay-per-view advertising on YouTube. When people, and I'm sure you've seen them. If you've watched a video on YouTube, you've seen those little ads that pop up there. So if you target the right keywords for the video that people are watching, and your message is relevant to what they're looking for when they're looking at that video, then you have a good chance that they'll click on your ad and end up on your website. And again, any other ads or offers in any media, like direct mail, magazines, stuff like that, if you can do paid advertisements in those things, put your website address in there. And then there's other things, again, solo ads, banner ads, things that are more technical and related to people that are kind of experts in the internet marketing industry. But there are other ways to put your ads out there, get into people's private email lists, and that type of thing, where you can advertise your website in those locations. So Brad, anything you want to throw in there?
I think you've covered it fairly well, Doug. As far as a lot of what you're mentioning, some of the biggest things that you can do besides paid advertising are the key things that you mentioned in the previous slide. Sometimes people say, I want to get traffic, or I want to get sales quicker for my website. Then usually if you want it quicker, then you would do paid advertising. And so, I mean, a lot of these things that you've got here on this slide right now, the organic type stuff, a lot of that is, some of it can be fairly instantaneous, but some of it is, if you're consistently doing that, you're getting more and more exposure and more traffic to your website from those methods. When you do paid advertising, you're going to need to have a marketing budget to do paid advertising, but a lot of times it'll get the job done quicker. But the thing is, with paid versus organic, let's say you're doing Google pay-per-click, for example, you may get an onslaught of calls or what have you of people. You have to pay sometimes very dearly for that type of traffic, but then when you stop paying and you shut it off, it goes away. Versus doing it organically, you're building a long-term internet presence and search engine presence by doing it the more organic, natural way.
Yeah, I think that's really one of the key points, Brad, is that pay-per-click advertising, as soon as you stop paying, your traffic stops.
Yep.
And so, like you said, it is a very valuable resource, particularly for people that want to get results right away. And in a lot of cases, that's the way to go while you're building your long-term traffic strategy. But unless you want to continually be paying, and again, even the rules of paid advertising are changing all the time. So, if you're looking at a long-term business marketing strategy, you want to build a marketing funnel that's going to bring you leads over and over and over again, even when you're not paying for it.
Right.
And so we talked about some of the paid strategies. So that's really what we had today, Brad. We talked about the first cornerstone of of marketing, online marketing for local businesses, and that's your website. Why to having a website, the key elements of having a website, and how to get traffic to the website. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to be covering that second cornerstone. We're going to talk about local directories and what we can do there. So with that being said, I mean that's kind of a wrap for me, and So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. You guys can all see my my ugly face here in a second. And, if it'll do that, I don't know. Perhaps not. Can't get it to go off the screen share here.
Yeah, that was a great presentation, and that made perfect sense. It's just kind of a real walkthrough of what's important, what's working, and what's not working, and really what to be aware of when it comes to this stuff, because most of us are busy, running our day-to-day operation of our businesses, and so all the online marketing stuff and all of the online marketing stuff and all the social media stuff, for most businesses, it's pretty overwhelming to even fathom it all and try to sift through what to do, how to work it, how would I ever get time to write a blog post and that type of thing. And so yeah, I think you hit it right on the head, Doug, as far as what's working now and what's important. We always tell people as well, if this is something that you are interested in doing and you just don't have the time, grab a consultation with us, and we'll go over some ideas and ways to do it for you. A lot of times we're going to need your input to a certain level because it's your business, but you don't have to do it all yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think what's really critical, Brad, is for people to know is that you don't have to do all of this at once.
Right.
But you do. I mean, in today's world, people communicate online more than ever before, and so it's important that you be there. If you're not doing this, if you have a local business and you're not marketing online, then you really are at a disadvantage. And so, if you want to survive going forward, then start somewhere. We talked about there's 4 cornerstones. If you don't have a website right now, then let's talk about how to prioritize where you want to be. Let's look at what you can do right now to get started, and then let's look at building out. Over time, we can build out those 4 cornerstones and get all those working together. Because once you have all of them working together, the power of that becomes exponential, and then you really will have a powerful marketing program going for you. Probably save you a lot of money over what you're doing right now if you're not doing online marketing.
No, I 100% agree. Well, guys, I think that today we want to make sure we respect everybody's time. We're at about the 45-minute mark. We would try to keep these as informative as possible without taking up hours and hours of your time. We will have a live recording of this up on our website, which is coloradobusinesshangout.com, and so we'll have that up shortly as well, so that you can go back through it and sift through it, take your time, and go over the information. And so, yeah, I think we'll kind of wrap up our Hangout today, and I appreciate Robert and Doug's input today, and for those that participated as participants, I appreciate everybody's time today. Did you have any closing comments, Doug or Robert?
Well, just as usual, what I would have to say is that our goal for you as local business people is to go out and thrive in this economy, not just survive, but thrive. So go out and enjoy life and help others do the same.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and close it for today, and we'll see you next Wednesday, and every Wednesday for that matter, at 12 noon Mountain Time, and we'll get that information out to you for next week. So thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.